Hi, my name is Debbie and welcome to my channel, Pouring My Art Out for the Lord. And I have been making a journal and I want to show you kind of the construction of this, how I put it together. And I have some really exciting news. I have been chosen to be part of a design team for Creating with Scrimping Mommy, Amanda Charlesworth. So I'm really excited about that. She's got lots of beautiful digitals. Her projects are phenomenal. She does all kinds of projects from cards to 3D projects, journals, all that kind of stuff. And I'm just thrilled to be on her design team and to be working with her papers and her collections and her projects and showing you what I come up with. So for my first project, I decided to make an envelope flip-flop journal. So I'm going to just quickly show you what this looks like inside, and then I'm going to take you on a little bit of a trip through the process. So I'm going to do flashbacks. I've never done it this way before, so hopefully this will work. So I'm going to show you a little bit, and then I'm going to flash back to how I put this together. So hopefully this will work well. So this is what I came up with. This is what it looks like at the top. It's not super fat. There is basically no spine here. There's the back. It's put together just with envelopes, so it's not something that you want for you know, permanent memory keeping for 1,000 years kind of thing. It'll probably fall apart, but for what I'm using it for, it is perfect. I did not reinforce the folds of the envelope. I could have done it with various things. And if I was planning to make more of a heirloom kind of journal, I would have done that. But this one, like I said, it's just going to be a journal that I just use and then kind of put away. But I did put a lot of work into it, so I will, you know, I hope it will last for a good amount of time. I titled this journal Random-ish because putting it together was very random, and I'm going to put random things in here. When you do a journal that has a lot of flippy, floppy kind of things, it's hard to make a sequential story, if you will. You know, if you want to kind of document something from start to end, or if you want to show things in a sequence, a certain sequence, it's hard to do with this sort of journal because you don't know where to start, you don't know where to end, you might miss things. So the whole thing is random-ish. So let's just get into this. It's basically got what I call 4 pages. So there's 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages, and 4 pages. And you'll see in a minute I did kind of an oops, but I turned it into kind of a design element. So when you make an oops, then use it as an opportunity, but I'll show you that in a video coming up, or a little clip coming up rather. So I'll just show you kind of how it flips and flaps a little bit. So there's an envelope there. This opens like this. Then this page flips over like this. And this one flips open like that. Flips open like that. Flips open like that. This one flips like that. Hopefully the camera is catching all of this when I open it up. Another flip here, another flip here, another flip there. And then on the back, this comes open, and this flips out, and this flips out. So lots and lots of flips. So I'll show you more in detail as we go along, but I'm going to flash back now to show you how I started with these envelopes. I just gathered a pile of different envelopes, different size, different colors, put them together, and I'm going to see what happens. So I just took some different size. I just glued the flap of the envelope onto here and there. I just took a pile of random envelopes, all junk mail envelopes. I didn't plan this out. I just put a pile and just kind of started doing it. So this was my base. It's one of the large, what is it, 9 by 12, I think. Yeah, 9 by 12. So my journal will be 9 by 6 at the end. So that was the base. So the back is really nothing except there's just a couple envelopes joined, so the back will just be plain. And then there's one envelope flip on that side. And on this side, I have something attached in the middle, and I did an extra flip on there, so that's in the middle. And then on the left-hand side, I have 2 different sized envelopes on this side. These are coffee dyed ones, so I might not completely cover them. And then here's the cover. So the cover, I put one flap over here, a little flap on top, and then this flap that I added, this flap and this flap. So lots of different flaps. So I have, let's just see how many envelopes I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the base, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 envelopes all put together. Okay, I'm back to the present. So next I'm going to show you the papers that I used to cover the base of the album. So as I mentioned, I'm using papers from Create with Scrimping Mommy, and I'll link everything below, but these are the kits that I used. The 2 main ones were Journaling Basics Pages, which is 33 pages, and Journaling Basics Ephemera, which is 30 pages. And those 2 alone are, most of this is that. There's, you know, bits and pieces, but there are so many things in there. If you get those 2 collections, you can put them with any kit that you want. They're all, you know, basic, neutral, basic pages that blend with almost anything, and ephemera that blends with almost anything. So those are really, really great starter kits, or even kits to add to, you know, if you've collected a bunch of colored themed journals, themed collections. These just go really good with everything. And then I used a couple pages and a couple elements from The Secret Garden and the Vintage Ballerina, just a couple of things peppered here and there. And then I've also used a few of her freebies. This cover image actually is one of her freebies. So she's got everything on Ko-fi, and I'll just put a link to her coffee shop, and I'll link these individual products so that you can check that out. So let's have a look at the papers that I used for the base. Really beautiful pages. This is a collage of some postcards. This is a collage of some old ephemera, some blank, some written on a stamp. And this is a collection of different ephemera as well. Lots of script in this one. I really like the green undertones. It's in all of the pieces. This one maybe not so much. But I think I'm going to bring that color out in the journal because I like that green. And then this one doesn't really have the green in it either, but it's got different advertisements, old advertisements in a collage. And then this is an old ledger page with a little collage in the corner there. And then I've got a couple pages from her vintage ballerina kits. So this is actually the same page, or I think it's the same page, just one is portrait and one is landscape. But again, I like that green there, so I printed it out in both of those. And then these are from her Secret Garden kit. So I'm kind of mixing a few different things. And again, this is the same page, portrait. This is portrait and this is the landscape page. So I'm going to show you now how I covered the base of my pages. And I'm also going to share a little oops with you. Okay, so my journal is covered just the base layer at this point. So I started out with 9 pages, and this is what I have left from all 9 pages. So here's my my journal, and when I was putting it together, because there's so many flip-flops and different things, I ended up turning the first 2 pages upside down. So then I just embraced it and changed how my journal works. So I have, before, the back was just 1 solid page, or just no flips on it. So now there's 2 flips on the back, and then those ones came off of the front page. So anyways, if you do that kind of thing, just embrace it and change it or recover it, or, whatever. So this is the front cover now. And again, this is just the base layer. So most of the envelopes I just covered completely. This was just the top of that envelope. I like the pattern that makes, so I might have to keep that somehow. There is a tuck here. So I left that envelope open and just kind of lined the inside there with one of the pages. And then there is a big tuck here, so I left that open. And then that opens that way. This is all solid, so I'll probably, some of these pages weren't long enough, so I'll put a pocket or different strips of whatever. This doesn't have a spine on it. It's a non-existent spine. It's just the envelope flip part. So I'm going to try not to load it up too much with bulky ephemera, which I do love to make, but I'll save that for another project. And this one I'm going to try to leave as flat as possible. I'm sure it's going to get a little bit chunkier, but... And then here's one of those flips. And then this I decided to just leave with the coffee dyed. I like how that looks. This one I covered up the envelope mechanism. So here's the inside of the front cover, actually. And then this is the middle page. So I have this flip on the middle page, and I just left that coffee dyed alone. This I'll probably put something else there. And then this was the envelope. This was the flap for the envelope. So what I did is I just glued the flap to another page, and then put some glue in the middle. So now I have 2 pockets here. And then because this was white on the back, I covered it with another page, and it wasn't quite big enough. The scrap wasn't quite big enough, so I made a tuck here. So this is how I often create. I just, I start out with a bunch of papers, and at the beginning you just sort of cover the whole piece, and then when you have just little scraps left, then you start becoming more creative, because you don't have enough to fill the whole page, and then you can make pockets and tucks and all kinds of things. So this just flaps open, this flaps open. This one I just left for now. There isn't a pocket there. So I'm not sure if I'll do the same thing as this one, or I might just make a faux pocket. I haven't decided that quite yet. So then those 2 close up. These 2, that's your middle page. This is part of your front cover. And then at the back I have, this flip was supposed to be on the top, but then when I flipped it over, it's at the bottom, which is fine. And I made another little pocket here. And then this, I didn't cover this side, and I covered this side, but again I left the flap unadorned for now. So I'm still not exactly sure where this is going to go. I think it's just going to be kind of a random eclectic journal. I'm just kind of getting used to the papers and the collections, and how things can go together. So I think I'm just going to make it kind of an eclectic journal without a specific theme. But I think what I'm going to do actually is, because there's so many flips and flops, it's kind of like you don't want a sequential journal so much in here, because you'll get lost in it. So I think what I'm going to do is just make interesting pieces everywhere to explore. So it's just more of a, open it up and explore, and if you miss something, that's fine. It's not going to affect anything. And then maybe next time you flip through it, you'll see something that you hadn't noticed before. So just kind of an interesting pokey poke around journal kind of thing. So now I'm going to just show you what I did for the next step, the papers that I used and some of the things that I created to go into the journal. So I printed out some more pages for the next step, and these are all from the, well, they're mostly all, except for these two, I think. So these are all from the Junk Journal Basics Emphemera kits from Scrimping Mommy. So this one just has, I really like some of the bright pops of color there because there's a lot of neutrals. I tried to keep in most of that green because I wanted to emphasize that green, but I always like a little pop of a little bit something brighter. So I printed that one. And then I really like this one with just the old writing. I think for this one I actually just printed this straight on, is it this one? Or maybe it was another one I printed on this one I did. This is just 20-pound copy paper, really light copy paper. So I'm going to coffee dye the back and then kind of crinkle them up to make them look old. And this one I'll probably do the same, but this one is 32-pound paper, so it's a little thicker. And then I printed this one out. I like all of the various tickets and stamps and the old ephemera there. This one I'll probably turn into a piece of old ephemera with coffee dyed on the back as well. And this one, which is a bunch of old ephemera as well. So, and then I've got printed out a couple of just neutral pages from the Secret Garden. Is that right? I think it's from the Secret Garden kit. She has a couple of purple background pages and a couple of these neutral ones. I didn't use the purple ones this time, but I think because there's so much going on here, it'll be nice to just put a few pockets or things with a neutral base just to, you know, quiet down some of the pieces in there. So I may print these out even more than once. And then I just have some random pieces that I've already cut out, little bits and pieces of a few of the other pages that I thought I might incorporate. So now I just want to show you a little trick to make some ephemera look aged using coffee, but not taking out all of the pots and pans and oven and having a big half-day session of coffee dyeing. This is a quick little trick. I've showed this on my channel quite a few times, but I've used this trick so many times and I really, really love it. So I'm going to just show you in case you haven't seen it yet. And that's just how to coffee dye. My printer doesn't really like feeding coffee paper through. I can get away with it sometimes, but most of the time it doesn't like it. I just have to grab something, so I'll be right back. I just had to get a little makeup sponge here. So I have a little pot of coffee, just a little half-pint jar with some strong instant coffee, and I just make a little bit and then I'll keep it in my fridge. Sometimes it doesn't make it back there. And this is what I do just to sort of coffee dye on the fly. So I turn my paper over and I soak this. But I don't want it super soaking because I have an inkjet printer and if this gets wet it will smudge and blur. So I just rub it on the back and I don't stop in one place very long because I don't want it to get too wet. And this is actually lighter than maybe I would like it. But you can go over it more than once. Once you've got it like this, I think I'll just let this dry and then I'll do one more layer. So I'll just pause the video for a second while it dries and then I'll show you the next layer. Okay, so it's mostly dry, so I'm just going to add another layer, and this one I might do just, you know, a little bit more random. You can just kind of do some little swirls or just different things. You could even do this through a stencil or a bit of lace. I don't usually do it for this process because what I'm really doing is just giving this this ephemera an aged look, and it will, because the paper's gotten wet and it'll dry, it will be a little more crinkly sounding, which I really love, and just give a little more aged effect. And once you ink the edges and stuff, it'll look cool. So that's my little coffee trick. So I'm going to do that on a few of these pages. I'll do it on this one. This is my thinner page. This one you have to be a little bit more careful because it does soak through faster, and then probably at the back of this one, the back of those ones, and probably not these ones. These ones I think I'm going to, some of them at least, I'll probably back onto a bit of card, the postcards. And so I hope you enjoyed that little flashback series. I think I'll just give you a flip through now. I don't want this video to be super, super long. It's already going to be long enough. So here we go, just with a few details. So this flips over. There's a pocket here. And then there's a pocket here made out of one of the postcards. And I put this typewriter here so you can see the journal from the front, and you can also see the special handling from the front. I like when things peek through like that, and I just made a really tall tag with one of the papers. And then this opens like this. Just a little bit of a tuck there. I did a little bit of stamping throughout, a little bit of fibers at the end. I had some postcards. I backed them onto some manila so they're nice and sturdy. So there's that. Here's my title that you can see on that page when you close this. And this is a tag that I made to go into one of the pockets there. I made a few of these little tiny paperclip tabs. They're just, I used one of the tickets and covered a paperclip and just put a, poked the paperclip out the top and tied in a little piece of trim there. And it just gives a nice little finish to the top of the tag like that. And this particular tag is a little bit different. It opens up, and then you can make a big writing space. So that's kind of fun. So I'll put that back on and back in. All right, and then this opens up like this. I made a series of 3 pockets here, stitched them on there. This is just some pieces of ephemera that were in the kit. I backed all of these onto manila folders so they're a little bit sturdier, just 3 different pieces. I used a few little washi stickers here and there. This is one of the washi stickers. This is one of the pieces of ephemera, and I just turned it into a little side tuck for there. And in here, this is the one leftover piece that I had from the construction, so I turned it into a belly band, and I put one of the pieces of ephemera there. And this is one of the pieces that I did the coffee dye trick on. So there's that. This is just one of the piece of the paper, and I made a pocket stitched around it. Made another one of those paperclip tabs, and a couple little pieces of ephemera. And here's one of those tall tags again. And this was another one that I used the coffee dye trick and a little bit of aging on there to make it look old. So there's that page. And then here I have a big piece of ephemera. I backed that onto manila card. This is a pocket, so you can actually add something in the pocket there. These are 2 pieces from the ephemera, and I made one a side tuck pocket this way and one a front pocket this, or a top pocket this way. So I tried to incorporate a few little secret-ish places. So this tab is, ticket is poking out obviously, but if you wanted to make this into a secret place, you could make something smaller and just tuck it all the way in, and no one would know that there's actually a pocket there. And this is another, this is, I guess oh yeah, this was so that's a pocket there with this big piece of ephemera. And then this ticket is in a little pocket here, and that just holds this flap closed. And inside here, I just stitched a little envelope out of one of the matte pieces. And I put another piece of ephemera, and this is another one that I did the coffee dye trick on. And aged that up a little bit. So So that tucks in there, this folds down, and the ticket holds it closed. And this goes back in there. Then on this side, there is a pocket with a couple of pieces of ephemera. And here I have a little belly band, and then this is on Velcro. So if you take off this envelope, you can open it and it becomes full writing space. So that's kind of neat. And then here I have a pocket, and I added another big label here so that I have another pocket there. So there's a little ticket thing there that I put in this pocket, and there's a little, or a bigger thing that I have here, a bigger journal card. And then I have this piece of ephemera in the back, and this ephemera is loose, and if I open this, I actually have a little secret writing space right there. So I thought that was kind of neat, because you would never know that that was there. You know, you would take this out of the pocket and you know, think that that was done, kind of thing. So there's another one of the little secret places. And then over here, this is actually a big pocket tuck. I guess I have nothing in there at this point. And this opens up, and I glued this piece to the envelope flap. And I just glued it down the center and here, I think, and maybe just a tiny bit here. And then I put in 2 flashcards that Amanda had on her freebies at some point, and stuck those in there. This is a page I just pretty much left blank. I added a little bit of trim there. Here's another one of those clips made from a ticket, and I've just got a really big tag there. I put an eyelid on this one. I didn't use too much metal and stuff because I wanted it to be fairly flat. And then behind there is another big writing space. So you can use that big writing space for, let's leave that one off for now. That one's a little trickier to put on because it's thick. And then I have a little flip here, and this is a double pocket. So I've got a couple of items in the back pocket here. And then this is a larger pocket at the back. And this pocket goes all the way down. So this can go all the way down. And then these tuck in here. And this is actually a pocket too. It looks like it's stapled on, but I stapled it first and then glued it. So it's actually a little pocket there. So you could stick something in there. And then this opens up here. And I put another journal card on the back of this envelope flap. And there's another little journaling space there. So that, did that, did that. And then here on the back, this is my oops that was supposed to be at the top in the front, but it worked well here. And I put another little Velcro piece just to hold that together, and then it holds the whole back in place. So that flips down. And I've got a pocket in the bottom here. And this is a little envelope looking thing again with one of those pieces of neutral paper. And this one also opens up all the way. So lots of journaling space there. Little journaling tuck there. This envelope I just glued on 3 sides so it becomes a journal card. And then I've got inside the envelope, I've got a bunch of, I shrunk down printed 2 or even 4 maybe to a page of Amanda's flashcards to make them smaller, and put those in there. So that goes in there. That closes up like that. And yeah, I didn't go here yet. Sometimes I forget where I've been. So I've got a tuck there and a piece of aged ephemera there, just tucked in. And this side opens up on another flap, and this time I took the same postcard and I put it on both sides. This was the vintage floral kit, I think, that Amanda had free for a while on her Facebook group. I'm not sure if it's still free on the coffee shop. I think it is. And one of the secret garden pages. So that closes up like that. And then if we go back to the beginning, there is on this side a little an envelope that I left open, and I made one of Amanda's folios to put in there. So I just kept this one really flat, but I put in a piece of ephemera here just kind of tucked it in like this, and this can flip up. And I put a pocket here with 3 of the ballerinas, and just 2 of the ballerinas here. These ones I didn't make into pockets, I just wanted it fairly flat, and lots of lines for journaling space there. And just a beautiful paper, a little tuck on the back here. So that tucks into the side of one of the envelopes here. And on the other side of the envelope, I have another big tuck where the envelopes, where I use the actual envelope as a tuck. And I just made a little journal. And I decorated the cover, but the rest of it I just used the papers because I wanted a little bit more just writing space. So this is just the papers from the basic journaling basics pages kits. And I just printed them out and stapled them together in this case. And just have another nice little booklet for some journaling. And that just tucks in there. So lots of little secret places, lots of little tucks and things. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you have comments, let me know in the comments. And if you like this project, I'm going to be doing lots more with Create with Scrimping Mummies. So give this a like and subscribe and ring the bell for all the notifications if you want to see what I come up with next. Thanks for hanging in there, guys. I know this is probably a fairly lengthy video, but hopefully you enjoyed that, and we'll see you in the next video.